30. The Washoe County Open Space and Regional Parks Commission meeting is now in session. We'll start with roll call. Mr. Roman.
Excuse me. Timothy Dake.
Present on Zoom.
Miles Gertler will not be here. Sean Hale.
Present.
Kevin Joel. Kevin, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Thank you, sir.
Oh, thank you.
Neil Jones.
Present.
Tracy Kaczynski will not be available. Mark Newman is not here. And Lisa Rohde.
Present on Zoom.
Thank you. We have 5, so we have a quorum.
Thank you. Next on the item is the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Hill, will you lead us, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Hill. Mr. Roman, please read the Zoom instructions.
This meeting will be held in the County Commission chambers and via Zoom. To attend this meeting via Zoom, please log into the Zoom webinar using the link found on the agenda. You can also join the meeting by typing zoom.us into your computer browser, clicking Join a Meeting on the Zoom website, and entering this meeting ID 898-2690-0042. Alternatively, you can join in the meeting via telephone only by dialing 1-669-900-9128, entering the meeting ID once again of 898-2690-0042, and pressing pound. For those wishing to provide public comment via Zoom, log into the Zoom webinar using the link on the agenda and utilize the raise hand feature during any public comment period. To provide public comment via telephone only, press *9 to raise hand and *6 to mute or unmute.
Thank you. Moving on to item 4, public comment.
I have Cynthia Reed. I'll put it on. Here, let me stop this. We'll let you get situated here. All right.
Oh, okay.
Just a minute.
I'm Cynthia Reed. I live in Galena Country Estates, HOA, near the Whites Creek Park. And I've been there for 23 years, and I've lived up here in Reno for 40, and I've been a Nevadan forever. So anyway, so if you're a Nevadan, you realize that open space is very good for your health and your physical activity. And quite a few people have dogs in our neighborhood. And about 4 years ago, right after COVID, we started getting stopped from using Whites Creek Park to throw the ball to our dogs so they could retrieve the ball. And we were told, of course, we couldn't do that, but we put our leashes on as we exit, and we go back through the neighborhood on a leash. Okay, so I mean, this was during COVID, the only time we had. Anyway, so the same thing is happening now. Some of us have been using it again because it's close to our neighborhood. We don't have to drive 30 minutes round trip to Cayenne and back. That takes time, okay, plus gas, etc. And you guys did add South Valley's shared use area, but like during the greatest part nicest time of the year. It's only available from 9 to 1 during the week. There's no weekend access. Where at White's Creek, which is a neighborhood park, you could have a shared use, especially on weekends, so people could use it, but also maybe from, 8 to 1 during the weekday, so us retired people can walk to the park, play with our dogs, and leave. We have always had a group of, here's my bucket, a group at South Valleys and a group at White's Creek picking up poop, leaving places better than we found them, okay? And I get a lot of thank yous and a lot of people that start picking up because they see that bucket. But what I want you to look at is down in Carson City, there is a park called Sonoma Park, and it is shared use, right in the middle of a subdivision, must have 20 houses all around it. About 8 are on each end, and the rest are across the street from the park. It's totally fenced in. They have hydraulic gates to let the dogs in and out, and they have one simple rule. So anyway, right there, dogs. Okay.
Unfortunately, your time's up.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, Cynthia. Appreciate the comments, and staff has heard your comments. Thank you. Is there any more public comment?
Excuse me, Chair, there is no further public comment. In chambers, no further public comment online, on Zoom.
Thank you. Moving on, approval of the draft minutes for the Open Space and Regional Parks Commission meeting of April 23rd, 2025. This is for possible action.
As Commissioner Hill, I move to approve.
Thank you. I have a motion to approve the minutes as written.
One moment, I do see someone's head raised. Timothy Dake.
Yeah, can I, just a few comments on here. We don't have, is Tracy with us today? No, she's our great editor. Just going through here real quickly, if I could, on the staff present, we've got Brandon in there twice. If we could clean that up.
Which one was that?
Oh, on the number 1 roll call, members present, absent, and staff present.
Okay.
We've got Brandon in there twice.
Okay.
On to page 2, and thank you very much for adding page numbers to these. In item number 6, the second to last paragraph, about the middle of the paragraph, Washoe County does not do zero-based budgeting and starts with the budget the department had last year. That's fine. A need for more is considered an above-base request. We need a little more clarification on that, like a need for additional budget, a need for more what? More people, more resources, just a little clarification. And further, the department will know what they're starting with and work with the county manager's office and analysts through the process, and we'll see what to prepare for. Maybe I don't have the full context of that, but it's not that sentence isn't clear to me. And then the last sentence, the county manager makes a budget recommendation to the Board of County Commissioners, who will decide that it's approved, not approved what? What are they deciding here? Yeah, it might be nitpicking a little bit, but that should be clarified, I believe. Also in the, on page 4, fourth paragraph, last sentence, it talks about moving money around, response to Commissioner Joyle's question. The last sentence, fees for new employees do not come off the books as a project would when completed. And again, I'm not sure. I think that sentence needs a little more context to it. I don't understand what it means about the employees not coming off the books. So with some attention to those details, I would second motion to approve these minutes.
Would you like to amend your motion, Commissioner Hill, to include the remarks from Commissioner Dake?
Yes, this is Commissioner Hill. I move to accept the minutes with Commissioner Dake's amendments.
Thank you. Okay, we have a motion to approve the minutes with the corrections. Do I have a second?
As Commissioner Dake, I second that.
Very well. Motion has been made and seconded. Do we have any public comment?
There is no public comment in chambers. There's no public comment on Zoom.
Very well. We have a motion to accept the minutes with the corrections. It's been seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carries. All right, moving on to item number 6, acknowledgement and recognition of Gabe Barbato, Park Ranger for 5 years of dedicated service and exceptional commitment to Washoe County.
Good afternoon. I'm Andy Brown, North Region District Park Manager, and it's my pleasure today to introduce Gabriel Barbato. We're very proud that Gabriel has been an extremely valuable member of the Parks team since he joined us in 2020. He's stationed at Lazy 5 Regional Park in Spanish Springs, and Gabe has been a friendly, familiar face at the Lazy 5 Summer Music Series all these years. He's also cheerfully led several volunteer projects on many projects throughout our community, and all of those projects have benefited all of those that have visited our parks. All of the tremendous effort that he puts into providing exceptional parks, open space, and recreational opportunities while preserving our natural, historical, and cultural resources can be appreciated daily by all those who visit. And it's my honor to present you with your 5-year certificate. Thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Okay, moving on. Eagle Scout presentation, rebuilt firewood shed at Davis Creek Regional Park, completed by Morgan De La Torre. Come on up.
Good afternoon, Commission. For the record, Nick Stoyer, Park Ranger, Davis Creek Regional Park. It's my privilege today to introduce you to an Eagle Scout candidate from Troop 20. She completed her project at the park, and the completion of this project has been a huge step for us towards the fire restoration efforts in the park. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Morgan De La Torre.
Thank you. My name is Morgan De La Torre, and before I get into my presentation, I just want to take a moment to say thank you. I've always loved going to Davis Creek Campground ever since I was a little kid with my family, and then when I joined Scouts 5 years ago, it's always been my troop's go-to camping spot. So thank you for the opportunity to do my Eagle project and just for entrusting me to help take care of the park and to give back for all the memories. So this first slide I have here just quickly shows what my project was. That very first picture is the remnants of the shed after it burnt down. So you can kind of see the area where the shed was and the remnants of the roof and some of the siding. Those next two pictures just show us building the shed, and I have some more pictures as I continue that elaborate on that. And then the final picture is the shed when we are completed. So, starting with the planning phase, back in December, I got to see the area where the shed originally was. And the original shed was built by another Eagle Scout. So you can see the siding that was burnt down, as well as the old chalk box, because there was also a chalkboard on the back of the shed that helped kids to learn about leaving no trace in nature and being able to express our creativity on chalkboards and not on rocks or trees. So I took that original chalk box and I was able to clean it up and include it on the new shed. Moving on to preparation, a lot of the businesses in our area understood how important Davis Creek is, and they helped to provide a lot of the materials for the new shed. So I have photos of the lumber and concrete delivery. This was back in April, and then some quick pictures of preparing the materials. I used an engineered wood siding that's similar to what would be used on houses, so the shed is going to withstand all of the elements for years to come. And that picture on my right, that is a picture of the chalkboard that is going to go on the back. I used an exterior chalkboard paint that's also going to withstand the materials, and it's made of an aluminum composite. So it's plywood surrounded by aluminum, so it won't warp, and it's going to last for a very long while, and it should be easy to maintain, just so kids can learn to enjoy the park and leave no trace in nature. The next slide. So now here are some photos of us building the shed. We started with looking at the original area where the shed was and helping to clean up the pine needles and all of the debris. We also leveled the area and dug holes for the posts. After that, we moved on to building the sides and the back walls. We squared it, leveled it, and then poured the concrete, and that was day one of construction. Day two, we added the roof, and we made sure it was at an angle that all of the snow and rain we get throughout the year will run off, and it comes out a little bit on the back just to help protect the chalkboard. So that was day two of construction. And we also built a lending library to add on to the side, just so kids can continue to feel invested in the campground. And this library actually has two sections. So there's a little shelf for kids' books and then another shelf for adults. So that way young adults also have more to do at the campground. And this was built with the same siding as the shed, so it matches, as well as a roof just to protect the library from all the rain and snow and water. And then the picture on the bottom left there is the chalkboard once it was installed on the back of the shed. So before I show you the final pictures of the shed, I'd just like to share some quick facts. The total hours planning and then execution and construction was 163 hours divided between 17 volunteers, including myself. So everyone really came together to help with this project just because we all love Davis Creek so much. And as I mentioned, a lot of businesses helped with the donation of materials, and the estimated value of all those materials was about $685. And those donors include Signs by Tomorrow here in Reno, which helped donate the chalkboard, as well as Ridgeline Framing, who helped with a lot of the lumber, and Home Depot, the Home Depots in Carson. So moving on to my final pictures, this is the completed shed. So the materials we used will be able to withstand elements and stay around for years to come, as well as the chalkboard and lending library will just help kids and new campers to feel more connected to the campground and get invested into camping just like I have. There's a few more little details I'm going to go back this week and add. So we're adding metal grates in the bottom so firewood bundles have something to sit on. I'm also adding a new latch onto the library so it'll stay closed in all the winds. And we're also going to add a little bit of rubber piping along the end of the roof just to minimize any hazards of hitting your head. But that's it. So once again, thank you so much for this opportunity, not just of doing my Eagle project and being able to work towards Eagle Scout here, but also just for all the memories of Davis Creek and Washoe County camping out here. So thank you so much, and do you have any questions?
This is Commissioner Dake. I guess, Morgan, first of all, excellent presentation.
Thank you.
But I'd like to commend you on helping to get Davis Creek Regional Park back in order again. This is a good project. It's needed there. and I would imagine you learned a bit while doing it. So thank you very much for your efforts to make that happen. It's a good project and a good outcome.
Thank you. I was very excited to do it.
I agree. Thank you, Morgan. That was very well done. You did a great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to item 8, presentation on the One Truckee River nonprofit organization by Iris J. Lee Papard, Executive Director of One Truckee River.
Thank you, Commissioners. Stephanie DRC, Parks Operations Superintendent. In response to a Commissioner request, we have a presentation today by One Truckee River's Executive Director, Iris. I'd like to invite her up to share a little bit more about her organization.
Thank you so much. Iris Lee Papard, as mentioned, Executive Director of One Truckee River, and I very much appreciate the opportunity to speak to the Commission about the work we've been doing related to coordinated vegetation management planning along the Truckee River corridor. And so let me get started. So I'm going to start in 2017. It was a year after the One Truckee River Management Plan, right there on the right, was unanimously approved by the 3 jurisdictions and Western Regional Water Commission. There were a lot of conversations going on at that time related to how do we protect and improve the native habitat along the corridor. And in 2020, Nevada Land Trust and One Truckee River got funding from Bureau of Reclamation to put more focus and coordination to those conversations. So we developed a steering committee and a technical working group that's active today. Why is this needed? Because there's many different authorities with different responsibilities along the corridor, and this is just a cross-section to give a brief visual of that complexity. Here are some of the partners, but not all, that we've been working with for the last 4 years on the topic. And the project has been focused on from Crystal Peak to Vista Narrows with SWCA and Desert Research Institute consultant support. And in 2022, we completed the Framework Vegetation Management and Restoration Plan, and that clarified regulatory constraints, identified compatible vegetation management techniques, and developed an implementation planning guide. Here's a screenshot of that regulatory framework. So we found all the rules, regulations, everything you need to know related to doing riverbank repair along the main stem of the corridor. And then here's a technical compatibility tool. So to the left, you put in your location and your challenges in that location, and then it's a pivot chart, and it spits out plans and methods to consider using. In 2023, we completed a conditions assessment that focused on gaining a snapshot of riparian conditions, including vegetation cover mapping, dominant species, channel conditions, tree height, and rock cover. It also included an aquatic conditions survey and surveys following NDEP's procedures for water quality and bioassessment. In 2024, we took that assessment and we developed a project prioritization tool that had ecological and non-ecological factors. So it includes an ecological conditions index scoring, a feasibility scoring, and public needs scoring, along with considerations to project types and flood conveyance restrictions. While we're developing this tool, here are the initial locations that were prioritized by our technical working group. And then when the scoring and everything was done, here are the highest needs identified by the data. And now I'm just kind of scroll along and go pretty fast, but I welcome anybody to ask me more detailed questions about this. But I thought it's great to give a visual. So yellow is not good. That means there's a lack of vegetation, there's active erosion, and then all the way to that blue, kind of dark purple, and that means that there's thriving vegetation along the corridor in that section. For City of Reno, here are the highest needs based on the scoring. City of Sparks. Washoe County. This, and also speak to why should we care. So One Truckee River does an annual regional survey, and here are some of the results that I think are important to share. And this one seems pretty obvious, but I think it is really important not to forget. We asked people, do you recreate along the Truckee River? And if you have, how long have you been doing that? And as you can see, the majority of people responded that they do, and that they've been doing that for more than 5 years. For the people that don't recreate along the Truckee River, the reasons why are concerns of safety, difficulty accessing the Truckee River, and I'll mention, because it's significant, there were a lot of different comments of why, but a common comment was that they just use different parks in the region. And then we asked, do you feel that the community needs to do more to address the health and safety of the river? And as you can see, residents say yes to that. Okay, so here is the slide where I bring up the elephant in the room, which is homelessness. And I want you to consider both of these rectangles on the screen as bars on a chart. So when one goes up, the other one goes down, and vice versa. So when there's thriving vegetation, many a times it's clear-cutted to get that line of sight for public safety and cleanliness. And those things are really important. But when that's done, it reduces, obviously, the vegetation there, but it also reduces the protection of water quality and the natural beauty of nature. So I'm really advocating to call out this elephant in the room and to find a balance between these two things, because all of these things on the screen are vitally important to our residents, and I think it's time that we find a balance between these two topics. How might we do that? We could consider more proactive selective pruning instead of reactive clear-cutting. We could do more to protect the mature trees from deep beaver damage. And we could invest in native planting after treatment of invasive species to get off that hamster wheel of just treatment. How might we move those things along? Maybe there's some policy level work that could be done, developing an MOU between the 3 jurisdictions and Reno, Sparks Indian Colony, some targeted training, because we can all sit here in an office setting all day long and talk about it, but what really matters is what people on the ground are doing. And then we need more new funding sources. And I know everybody is very aware of this issue. And so I really advocate to support the service plan that is going to City Reno Council on June 4th. I'd really advocate for the county to step up and join that, because all the time, parks and open space is underfunded. And there are so many issues that never get resolved. There are so many plans to improve the Truckee River, and we don't have the funding to do it. I just want to quickly bring up that all of this work aligns with the Truckee River Vision Plan that was prepared for Washoe County and the city of Reno. And I'll end on this screenshot. It's a page out of that vision plan, and I think it gives a great visual of what we could strive for. As you can see, there's thriving vegetation along the corridor, but there's also line of sight. So I think the goal is not to expect wilderness along the corridor, but to also enhance and improve the nature that we do have and strive for places that we restore to have plants low to the ground or up high. So we can have that thriving vegetation, but we can also have that line of sight. And a thank you to our funders. And thank you for the time.
Do we have any questions from the commissioners?
This Commissioner Dake, are all the properties noted you've assessed along the river, are those all public lands of various sorts, or are any of them private properties?
They're only public.
They're all public, okay.
Yeah, we weren't able to dive into the private with the funding we had.
Okay. Yeah, very worthwhile effort, but as you know, every agency out there is scrambling for their budget dollars, and it's very difficult. But I agree, there's some very raw parts of the river out there. The answer is going to be a tough one, but your goal is worthwhile.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Iris. That was an excellent presentation, and there is a lot of information here that we need to digest and go through. And as Commissioner Dake talked about, funding is an issue, and so we need to work on that, but we can do some things without incurring a whole lot of expense. We just got to work on it and come to an understanding. So thank you very much. Excellent presentation.
Okay, thank you so much. And I forgot to mention that all of this information is on the planning agency website, and we have a link to that on our website, which is onetruckeeriver.org, and go under resources, and then you'll see a link that has the mapping and all of the tools that I explained. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent. Moving on to item 9, presentation, discussion, and possible approval of a special event agreement with the Altruistic American for the Best in the West Beard and Music Festival to be held at Lazy 5 Regional Park on September 5 through 7, 2025 at a cost of $15,540 paid to Washoe County. This is for possible action.
Thank you. Again, Stephanie DRC, Parks Operations Superintendent. Hello again, Commissioners. I have a special event agreement to bring before you today. A little bit of background. Early in the year, Park staff was approached by Chris Battenberg with the Altruistic American with an idea for a festival to be held at Lazy 5 Regional Park. Mr. Battenberg and staff have worked together to determine the best way to support his event while maintaining the integrity of the park facility itself. I'd like to introduce Chris to provide a presentation and some additional information about his proposed event.
Hello, I'm Chris Battenberg. Thank you for your time. Appreciate you seeing me today. Pardon my voice, I coach softball, and this weekend we had a tournament, so a lot of loud yelling for the kids. So as I just stated, my name is Chris Battenberg. I'm a married father of 4. I've lived in northern Nevada since 1993. I call this place home. I'm a co-founder and also the executive director of the Altruistic American, which is a local nonprofit. I also founded the Best in the West Beard Music Festival, formerly known as the Best in the West Beard Festival, that was held at Wingfield Park for the past 4 years. A couple missed there because of COVID. There we go. So today's agenda, what I'd like to present to you, who we are, what we do for our community, what the Best in the West Beard Music Festival is about, the impact to our communities, and then obviously another thank you. So the Altruistic American, I got some bullet points. I'm just going to shoot from the hip here about who we are because it's better coming from my heart than off of paper. In 2019, my wife, my mother, my best friend, and myself decided to found this organization due to a lack of resources in our area for folks suffering mental health crises. Seeing the impact on first responders, families, and the general public and community has been profound, and there's not really much in the way to help prevent this from being a crisis. So our mission is to end the stigma behind ill mental health and seeking treatment for it, and then also to provide resources and brick and mortar facilities for folks to seek treatment in a mental health crisis. We raise money throughout the year through our events. That money is then reciprocated right back into our community through our ENL Scholarship Fund, our No Stigma campaign, and other various outreach programs that we participate in through other organizations throughout the year. I mentioned the crisis clinics. I'll get into that a little bit more here in a second. So the impact we have, as I mentioned, the ENL Scholarship and Awards. The ENL Scholarship is named after a family that basically without their help, support, and funding, we would not exist today. So we decided the best thing to do to honor that is to name this scholarship after them. We've given back thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to local college students that are going to school seeking a mental health related degree. To extrapolate, there are certain folks that think that just means a psychiatrist or a therapist. It goes much deeper than that. First responders. We've even had a nutritionist get a scholarship because the way you look can have a direct impact on your mental health, and I think that's important to make sure we get every single aspect of society supported. Our No Stigma campaign is a grassroots effort by our organization to help educate the public on the crisis of ill mental health and the lack of resources in our communities, and also to provide them with resources that are available and also the information and knowledge to be able to help somebody in a crisis situation. On that campaign, we have what are called crisis cards, and we have stickers. We also just started a new program. They're called our Lifeline cards. Crisis cards are very simple. It's just a card. It's a business-sized card that you can pick up at a local business or an organization that's willing to partner with us. And it's a simple way for you to get resources without having to feel like you're being put in a spotlight. So you can grab one, take it. It's got all the information for the 998 suicide hotline, as well as other local county resources. I actually have the county health department listed on there because I think that it's a staple in our community that needs to be added to the list of multiple amazing things that we have, but we don't have enough, and that's why we do this. The stickers people put up in their windows at businesses, so when you walk in, you can just scan a QR code, get the information right on your phone, ready to go. Our Lifeline cards are something that I was just enlightened by another organization. It's a card that you can give someone if you are suffering from a mental health crisis, but you don't know what to say. Some people can't talk when they're having a mental health crisis, so they give this card to somebody that's near them, and this card has verbiage on it, both in English and Spanish, to express to the person that they're with that please stay with me until help has arrived. I'm having a crisis. I don't know how to handle it. Please call this person or that person to have help sent my way. I can confirm that the crisis cards have already saved multiple lives through just the simple fact of having the resource available, and this is directly from the people that it saved their lives. So it's already had a direct impact on our communities and potentially your family members. The events we host, like I mentioned, bring not only awareness and education, but also it raises funds for our nonprofit. Nobody on the board takes a cent from our nonprofit. It's all volunteer-based. All of the money we raise goes right back into our community, every single cent of it. I'm very adamant about that. If you're not here to volunteer your time, then you're not welcome on the board. It's just how we operate. One of those events is why I'm here, the Best in the West Beard and Music Festival. We also have what we call the Monster Mingle, which is a Halloween party for families to come and do a trunk or treat, and we have a live DJ, and it's a really fun event. It's pretty new. We've only done it once. And then our annual gala is our way of showing thanks to our supporters and to our sponsors throughout the year. We award our E&L scholarship at the gala, and we also award our nonprofits awards. They all have names. I'm not going to go through that for you, but they all honor either volunteer, our biggest volunteer throughout the year, our biggest financial sponsor, our biggest in-kind sponsor, et cetera, et cetera. These are all very important things for me because without their support and their help, we would not exist. Here you go. So the fun stuff. The Best in the West Beard Music Festival, as I stated earlier, started off as just the Best in the West Beard Festival. A lot of people chuckle and laugh at us because they think it's kind of funny and a joke. If you guys understood how serious the competitive bearding world was, you probably wouldn't laugh so much. The gentleman on the right is a good friend of mine out of Sacramento, and he does that. That's our old logo. We changed it, but that's our nonprofit's logo he did in his beard to compete in our freestyle category. I'm actually going to compete in the world's competition at the end of June, and that's in Pittsburgh. So it's a big deal. Like, we go all across the world, all across the United States to compete. It brings a lot of people into our city that would never come here otherwise. It's if you haven't gone, you should come. It's fun. So the festival is a multicultural celebration of not just Northern Nevada, but as I just stated, the United States and also people from abroad. We have people come in from Europe constantly to compete in our competition. It's our main fundraiser for the TA, for the Altruistic American. I might call it TAA because a lot to say. We educate thousands of people every year, and that's an understatement. I think it's probably in the close to the tens of thousands of people every year with our outreach on social media and as well as in person. The event's family friendly. It's geared. I don't want anybody to feel like they're not welcome at our events. We provide tons of stuff for kids, tons of stuff for adults, and everything in between. Not only that, but I'm excited at the idea of being able to showcase Lazy Five. I've been going to that park since it was opened. I live in Spanish Springs. I've lived out there for a very long time. It's where I take my son to learn how to skateboard. It's where I go to just spend time and just relax at a park, and also join these fellows with their music festival or their music series. Super awesome. It's a great exposure for first responders, not only the park rangers, but also police and fire and medical. They're very important in what we do as an organization. They are literally the first responders to someone in a mental health crisis. So without their support and without giving them the spotlight that they deserve, it doesn't quite do justice. So we intend on having a giant area for them this year. I'll get into that in a minute. The general festival grounds, and when I say general, don't get that misconstrued. The entire festival is free to attend other than our concert area for our main stage. It's the only area that's ticketed, and the only reason why is because we have to be able to bring in some sort of revenue in order to make this something we can afford to do every year. Things you can expect at the festival, as I mentioned, our beard competition. I'm not joking when I say it's world famous. There are folks that come here just for the festival or for the beard comp. They could care less about the festival and everything else. They just want to compete, get a trophy, go home. They end up staying, they end up falling in love with the place, and now I have people that come up here from the Bay Area on a regular basis to spend time for vacation with their families because of how much they fall in love with our area. Educational information and mental health resources is something that if we didn't do that, what are we doing? So I make sure that it's very paramount that we have multiple organizations on site that are there to share information, give resources out, and also offer help on site. Live music and entertainment, it's exactly what it sounds like. We have all kinds of different exhibitions. We have the Rednecks, Cotton Eye Joe. We got them playing this year as our headliner. Green Jelly, a couple other bands. We actually have a female pop artist that's flying in from Japan on her own dime to perform for us just to support our cause, which is tremendous. Not only do we have local vendors, artisans, crafters, but we get people that come in from across the country to sell their goods and wares and services at our event. we have exhibitions. The exhibitions are probably my favorite part of the whole thing. I'm going to mention the first one last because it requires a little bit of explanation because nobody knows what it is. We have a Scottish Highland Games exhibition. If you don't know what that is, they throw heavy stuff really far, and they're big giant dudes, kind of like Andy here. They all do amazing work, and they are also a nonprofit in town. And a lot of these guys do this for their own mental health. It helps them with their mental health. So it's a really cool thing to see if you haven't seen it before. We have a professional skate jam. Again, I try to involve every aspect of our society that gets after the kids, gives them a reason to want to show up and listen to what we have to say, and potentially change their life or save their life in some situations. I had a gentleman last year come up to me about 3 weeks after our festival and say, hey man, my son was contemplating suicide, came out there, saw the kids doing the skate jam, and now he's fully invested in skateboarding and is a complete change of his life. The armored combat is exactly what it sounds like. These guys dress up in knight's armor and they literally hit each other with swords. It is insane. It's completely safe. They say it's safe. So they've been out for 2 years now, and they're amazing gentlemen. And there's ladies. They put on a really good show. Again, if you haven't seen it, you should come check that out. Sparring matches. This is still something that's in the works. I've got soft confirmation from the gentleman that owns the gym that wants to do it. It's just basically sparring matches of Muay Thai. Completely controlled, nothing like dudes just jump on a stage and start beating each other up. It's all prearranged, everything's scheduled. It's completely controlled by a referee. Even though it's just a sparring match, you still want somebody in there to make sure that they can help somebody immediately if they need it. They wear full gear, the whole bit, so it's pretty cool. Now, water ball. Water ball is, I have it on my map as the firefighter games. Think of a tether ball hanging from a high tension wire, and you've got a firefighter crew on one side and a fire crew on the other side, and they use their hoses to play tug of war with the ball. Whoever gets the ball across the most amount of times in 3 minutes wins. It's very simple. It's extremely beneficial for the firefighters as they are allowed to get experience on a live hose, practice on their aim, and also have a little bit of elbow rubbing competition with their counterparts. I've already received confirmation from the city of Reno that their fire is interested in participating and helping to facilitate everything we need to make it happen. My goal is to get every jurisdiction that's in our area to be able to compete, because everybody's going to want the bragging rights and the trophy at the end. And not only that, like I said, the most important part of it is the actual hose time that these gentlemen and ladies are going to get while they're out there working. And then mention it's going to be 85 degrees, dry heat. It's nice to get a little bit of water sprayed on you if you're watching it. They used to do this in Atwater, California when I was a kid. That's where I got the idea from. I can tell you right now it draws hundreds of people just because they want the water, and then they see what's happening, and it's a lot more fun for them. Obviously, we'll have food trucks and bars at the event, all of which will be wristbanded and obviously approved by the county before they're there. The wristbanded for the alcohol, I should mention. The food truck area is going to be pretty substantial. We'll make sure there's plenty of trash pickup and receptacles in the area to make sure it doesn't go all over the place into the neighboring communities, etc. So, as I mentioned, the festival is really about big beards and big hearts. A lot of people don't understand how deep this goes. If you go to a beard competition anywhere in the world, I can 99.9% guarantee you that the money raised at that competition is going to a charity of some sort. We decided to just do our own for our own charity. That's where this all stemmed from. Started at Davidson's Bar in downtown Reno, and developed from there to Wingfield Park. We did 4 years at Wingfield Park, and now we're hoping to grow out to Lazy 5 with your approval. So the impact we have on our community is tremendous. I can't express that enough with just the entertainment value, the things that we provide people to do, just to come out and spend time with your family during the weekend. It's a lot better now, but when I was growing up, there wasn't much to do here for kids. So to have things that are family friendly and free is, I think, very instrumental for our success as a community. We raise awareness, spread information, resources. We raise money for the nonprofits scholarship fund, as I mentioned earlier, and then the economical impact to local businesses and our community is pretty tremendous as far as getting folks into our community to rent hotel rooms, rent Airbnbs, rent cars, airline tickets, buying food, going to restaurants. They do all of these things while they're here. Not only that, but the people that they're supporting at the festival, a majority of which that money stays right here in our community. And I think that's a very important part of this festival. At the end of the day, I mean, it's all about money in order for us to be able to succeed at what we do, both the county and with my nonprofit. The festival, it provides a safe, family-friendly environment, and what I mean by that, by safe, is that, you know, the kids are I got 4 of them, they're the most important thing to me, because without them, we don't have a future. So I want to make sure that they have something to look forward to and something they want to invest themselves in when they get older. Then you add the lifelong memories. I can't tell you. I was going to share a picture of my daughter, but I was like, that's too much about me. But she's every year she's competed in our kids craft category. There's a picture. I'll show you the last picture real quick again. The bottom left picture is actually one of our what's called a whiskerina. They're female competitors that build giant craft beards, and what that is, it's a rooster in a cage in her beard. They get extremely creative. It's really cool to watch, and then the kids can do it as well. When the kids compete, we give them access to a craft table. They can make a beard right there on site in case they didn't know what was going on before they got there. So the dynamics and logistics of the event are fairly straightforward. Setup and teardown is going to be done on the 4th and the 8th of September, so the day before, and then partial of the day of the 5th. That's just basically going to be small, insignificant stuff as far as I'm concerned, putting up the little things that don't require big trucks and a bunch of people. But on the 4th is when the majority of our logistics will happen, and on the 8th. All infrastructure, vendors, et cetera, will set up on September 4th and leave on the 8th. They're not allowed to tear down every day and go in and out of the park. We're not going to allow traffic in and out of the park other than to the parking areas. Trash will be collected throughout the day and after the festival's over every day by our volunteers to make sure that there's nothing left in the park that's going to make it any less awesome than it is right now. We are working still with a couple companies to provide shuttles to go to and from a couple local parking lots that are large enough for the expected crowd to be able to park and be able to get to and from our festival safely. We'll have Uber and rideshare areas at the parking area as well. My goal is to keep the traffic in the park vehicle-wise as minimum as possible. I think we're going to maybe get 300 parking passes distributed or sold, if you will. And if we don't meet that number, I'm totally okay with that. It's still going to shut down the lot, though. We're not going to allow people to just pull in and buy a ticket and park, because it just causes too much of a traffic jam on Pyramid, and then it's also going to cause a lot of headache for my volunteers trying to direct traffic. They're not traffic control experts, so. We will have 24-hour security from the 4th through the 8th on site. That's one thing I would like to get your input on, as well as what organizations are approved by the county. I do have the potential of having first responders actually do my security for me, i.e. local police. If that's an option, that's something we can discuss at the end of the conversation. The map up there is about 90% accurate. There's only a couple things we've moved, like the altruistic American tent is going to move to the east side of the park, and I have the firefighter games listed on there, which is actually the water ball that I mentioned earlier. On that water ball note too, as well, I provided Ranger Brown with quite a few infographics that have a breakdown of the amount of water expended during the water ball exhibition, the amount of area that it'll take to do this, and the amount of drainage in the area. I'm pretty confident in it. I think Andy's pretty impressed with what I provided him. But again, we can discuss that further if you have questions here in a minute. So the impact of Lazy Five's neighbors, the direct neighbors to the north, and the new warehouses to the south. For sound, we're going to flyer the neighborhoods around the park to let them know what we're doing, what we're about, why we're doing it. Not just hey, we're going to make a bunch of noise, but actually give them our website, what our mission statement is, and why we're holding this festival. It's not just for us to go out there and party and make a bunch of money, because we're not making any money off of this. It goes right back to our community, as I stated earlier. Traffic, like I mentioned a while ago, we'll have the shuttles, rideshare, and limited number of parking on site. Trash will be picked up, as I said a minute ago, by all of our volunteers throughout the day. Waste Management's probably going to donate a dumpster for me that'll be picked up and serviced as needed, so we won't have a giant overflowing dumpster all the time. And then communication. I plan on reaching out to the landowners that are south of the park, because a big concern I have is people parking in the sagebrush over there and setting a fire. So my goal is to hopefully have them in place to either let people in or not let people into their property, and if not, to get permission from them to be able to put a volunteer there and some signage that says there's no parking over here. Just to prevent, my main concern is the fire aspect. I'm not too concerned with people parking for free. That's not really my problem. It's just the safety of our open spaces in our community. So with that, I want to thank you again for your time and letting me talk up here as hoarse as I am right now. If you want to reach out to me with any further questions past today, there's all my contact information, our website. Feel free to reach out to me directly. I'd be happy to talk to you and answer any questions or concerns you might have. But in the meantime, I'm here for you.
Well, thank you, Chris. That excellent presentation, very detailed. And I must admit, as a 21-year competitive Highland athlete, I may have to come out there and throw the gear. Just kidding. If there is one question that I have, you have the trash, but as we all know, when you have a festival like this, there's two things that people don't like to talk about, but that are very important. One is trash pickup, the other is sanitation. Mm-hmm. What are we doing for sanitation? Are you bringing in porta potties? Are you using existing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah, definitely providing I actually want the Rangers to lock all of the public facilities, because we'll be providing our own restrooms, ADA restrooms, hand washing stations, everything that you would expect at a regular event in town. It's all stuff that I leave it out because I've done this so many times that I kind of forget about it sometimes, because it's one of those just I do it and it happens. United Rentals is actually the company that's sponsoring us this year for our restrooms, fencing, lighting, power, all of that stuff. We're going to provide well-lit areas for once the sun goes down to get people from the east side of the park to the parking area and the rideshare area and the shuttle area. There'll be clear access from our stage, which is on the west side of the park, to the same areas. So there will be plenty of well-lit areas, plenty of restrooms, plenty of trash collection receptacles, et cetera.
Okay, thank you. Any more questions from the board?
Yes, Commissioner Hill here. Thank you for the presentation. Curious what how many people did you see when it was at Wingfield, and how many are you expecting for this?
So Wingfield's a different beast, because I've got the Riverwalk right there in downtown. So I've got all of the people from out of town already there. So we numbers of people that came to our festival because they heard of it before and they were like, we want to come to this, I'd say probably around 1,000. Throughout the weekend, our busiest year was not this last year, but the year before, we had about 3,500 people throughout the day that stopped at the park, which was pretty tremendous. We weren't expecting that many people, but we were prepared for it and made sure that everything was as smooth as possible. Being that we're moving to Lazy 5, your guess is as good as mine. I really don't know until we do this festival this year. My hope is the same numbers, 3,000 to 3,500 people. If we pull that off, I will consider this event successful. Right now, I don't have any solid numbers to give you because we haven't started selling tickets, because I need your approval before I do that. And on top of that, we're not really pushing our advertising yet for the same exact reason. So I don't really have a solid metric to give you on that, but that's my hope is 3,000 to 3,500. And that's total attendance. We will have enough facilities in place to hold at least 5,000 people per day at the festival. So trash pickup, bathrooms, et cetera, will be able to host 5,000 people throughout the day. I don't see that number being realistic though.
Great. And follow up for parks, have we done festivals of this size at Lazy Five before?
Stephanie DRC, Parks Operations Superintendent. Great question, Sean, or Commissioner Hill. I don't believe so. This will be a pilot program to see kind of what that park can handle in this special event realm, but it certainly has the potential, and Mr. Battenberg has been incredibly flexible around the things that we already have scheduled. So our senior programs are our regular church service. It has adjusted his plans according to that, so I don't anticipate it being a problem with regularly scheduled events. And his parking plan, his event plan is very solid. So we are in support of this agreement.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions from the commission board?
Yeah, this is Commissioner Dake. One of the issues we had at Rancho San Rafael on a similar festival was the music got pretty loud, and we had some complaints. This has gone back a couple of years, and further festivals of the same kind, we had to do some sound monitoring just to make sure that it stayed within reasonable limits, and then it shut off at a specific time, and Superintendent Darcy could talk to that. But have any considerations being made to controlling the sound level, and while you're looking at notifying neighbors, what are your plans to keep the sound level under control?
Yeah, that's a great question. Forgive me for not bringing this up earlier. We have JMF Entertainment is our production company that's putting on our main stage. The side stage is going to be the decibel levels will be no different than somebody cheering for a soccer game over there. The main stage, which is on the west side of the park, will be facing in a southward direction to angle all sound down the valley away from the homes. The only thing that might be an issue is the reverb off of the new warehouses that are there. To extrapolate on JamPro, they just locked in the contract with J Resort to do the new festival grounds. So they're the best people in this city to be able to handle the audio and the sound coming from our stage. I couldn't have hired a better company to do it. Shouldn't say hire, they're doing it out of the kindness of their hearts. They donate their time and efforts to support what we do. That being said, they do have sound monitoring that they do themselves. With Wingfield Park, we've stayed within sound requirements every single year. I haven't had a single complaint come back to me yet, and we've had Dramarama played the year before last, and they were probably the loudest we've had. And if anything, it brought people to the park to come celebrate with us and have a good time. As far as what the direct sound will be on the neighboring communities, I feel that it'll be pretty minimal considering the angle of the stage, the professionals that I have running the stage, and then also the environment that we're in. It shouldn't be anything over what the park already produces with a soccer match or a family celebration at one of the pavilions, as far as what they're hearing at their homes.
Okay, thank you, Chris. I appreciate that you've considered it and doing something with your promoter about dealing with it. Appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you.
Chair Jones here, just for clarification, on page 3 of the contract, the maximum amplification sound level will be 100 decibels at the entrances to the park, just for clarification. Any further questions? Very well. I will entertain a motion.
This is Commissioner Dake. I was gonna quiz Superintendent Darcy on the benefit to the county and the residents and so forth, but after Mr. Battenberg's presentation, I'm sold on that value to the county. So I motion that we approve this this proposal.
Is that language good?
No.
Yeah.
Chair Jones here for the record. Commissioner Hill, would you please read the motion for the record?
Sure. For the record, the motion that Commissioner Dake, I believe, is referring to is approval of a draft special event agreement with the Altruistic American for the Best in the West Beard and Music Festival to be held at Lazy 5 Regional Park, September 5th through 7th, 2025.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
This is Commissioner Rhodey. I will second.
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any public comment?
I have no public comment in chambers, no public comment on Zoom.
Very well. The motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carries.
Thank you all very much. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to item 10, presentation on the 20th anniversary of the Lazy 5 Summer Music Series.
Hello, my name is Ranger Gabe Barbato out of the Para District in Sparks, Nevada.
And for the record, I'm Ranger Brandon Faber, same district, Para District, out at Lazy 5 Regional Park.
And we are here today to talk about the Lazy 5 Summer Music Series, which is at Lazy 5 Regional Park.
So the summer music concerts out at Lazy 5 Regional Park is going to be the topic. It's what we're calling the program of the month. We're going to flip through some slides here, kind of just talking about what the overall arching concept of this program has been for the last 20 years.
All right, so 20 years ago, the music series was started by a park ranger named Barbara Borges, and they wanted just a free community event for people to come out to. And since then, it has grown and grown. I think the first year had 6 concerts. And, we do a questionnaire at the end of the music series every year, and the biggest feedback we always have are, please, more concerts. So we have been doing 10 per year for the last, I think, 15 years, which has been about a good number.
And so why do people love it so much? So why do people love it so much? The fantastic local live music, of course, all the local bands that come to that we get into the event, the delicious local food and the drink vendors, probably some that we're going to mention here a little earlier you're going to be familiar with. We do have our raffle prizes donated from local businesses. That draws a large crowd just to get in on that. Some great prizes. Multiple events. It's not just one event. This happens over several weeks throughout the summer. I think we're expecting 11 weeks this year, but 10 events at least. And it's free. And I don't know why it's not doing my fun little pop-ups, but it was supposed to be an additional pop-up there that mentioning that it is free. The public does not have to pay to attend this event at all. It's all funded by our donors. Some of the local bands.
Yes, so I counted this morning, we've had 174 concerts so far in the music series. So at the end of this year, we'll be at 185 as our June 7th is one event, one big one. So we got a bunch of mostly local musics, a lot of bands that like to play at the casinos and stuff, but we also get a lot of bands that are traveling through the area that want to play. Bands from all over the Bay Area, Sacramento. We've had them from other states, Utah as well, I think 2 years ago. So bands love it because it's an opportunity to play, first of all, on a Wednesday, which is a day they don't usually have a gig, but also to play for a big crowd that's not in a bar. They're pretty used to that. So just to be outside with a big crowd of families dancing rather than in a small bar in the middle of the night. We usually have a lot of great bands that are asking to play.
And along with all of those fun bands, we also have to feed the crowd, and we have a bunch of participating vendors that come out. Some of these are reoccurring vendors that come out every single event. Some of these are new, and everybody loves the food. Sierra Swirls, the best soft serve ice cream in my opinion. But maybe some of you guys recognize these vendors that'll be out there. Most of these are all going to be out at our 20th anniversary event, which we'll talk about, as well as our on tap mobile pub. So you get some food, you get some drinks and live music. Our event promotion. So the way we promote this and get this out to the public is generally through our flyers, just our promote materials. I have one here, kind of that's a little bit better version if you wanted to look at that, but we also should have them in front of you guys. That's this year's flyer. It's got a QR link, so if you want to scan that and take that with you, that will have a link to this flyer. Social media, Facebook, Instagram, all of our parks have their own personal Facebook page, as well as the Washoe County Facebook page, of course, and our Instagram. And we also plan on being on the news. So you'll see our faces on there later, probably next week. So that's how we get that information out there, and also just word of mouth. So all of the people that help us to make this event possible, it's definitely not just being done by me and Ranger Gabe. We have a huge group of people that help us make this event possible. The Boy Scouts of America being one of them, just being as helpful. The kids get out there, they pick trash, or they just kind of help us. It's just fun to see them. They raise and lower the flag during the event and things of that nature. This year's just a little different because of the larger event that we're having, so we have a couple additional agencies helping us out. But volunteers, we occasionally have volunteers that come out and help us, once again, to help coordinate parking and things of that nature. The CERT team, the Community Emergency Response Team, I'm sure you're familiar with them. They're a huge part. Their volunteers come out and help us direct parking and kind of keep everybody in an organized fashion for the most part. This year, we're working with Allied Universal, contracted through Washoe County, to help provide additional security, parking enforcement, and things of that nature, and Washoe County Animal Control to help with any animal-related issues that we could potentially foresee. And of course, the Washoe County Sheriff's Office in the unfortunate event that those resources were needed. But all of them help keep this event safe and family-friendly and running smoothly. That is Troop 443. They're one of the Boy Scout groups that come out almost every year and help us. And I think this was a photo from a couple years ago, but it's always fun to watch them have a good time. And if we can click on this link, I'm not sure how to play this from this remote. Let's see. I don't know how you would be. Oh, there we go. Well, if the video doesn't play, it's a great video of essentially what a typical concert looks like on Wednesdays, where it's just one of our live bands and everybody's dancing, having a good time. You can see the families, the smiles on their faces, the food vendors in the back, and it's a really great video to kind of promote what a traditional concert looks like at the Lazy 5 Regional Park. So I'm going to skip the video. Sorry, guys. No, maybe not. Maybe it'll. Oh.
I'm going to get this out of the way, but I'm going to try to get it up and going, so if you want to keep talking.
Okay, sure. Gabe, if you want to go ahead and step in really quick. Are you trying to play the video?
I'm going to see if I can play it from the PDF you sent me.
Okay.
The link is good there.
Well, we will continue then. If we get to watch that video, I think that would be great. Try to skip to the next slide here. It worked great on my computer. Yeah, it might be trying to load the video. But what we'll go into next, guys, is essentially this year's special because it's been 20 years of concert events. So we got a lot of comment from the public saying that we should really celebrate the 20 years and do something to something special. So Ranger Gabe can talk a little bit more about that. But what we have planned this year is pretty spectacular.
Yeah. So as Brandon mentioned. As we always get those comments at the end of the year, we want more music, and so for the 20th, we're like, let's have a full day event. We have 3 bands and playing 4 sets. So one band is playing twice, and we have the Great American Craft Fair is going to be there with about about 40 or more craft vendors. We have a group called the Obsolete Iron Car Club, who does a car show at Lazy Five every year. They're bringing in about 20 or so classic cars to display. A bunch of food trucks. We'll have a kids zone with a bunch of bounce houses and fun stuff for kids to do, and just
American Craft Fair as well.
I got the video.
Oh, great.
I can try to play it. I'm not.
Yeah,
Go
all right.
ahead. Go ahead.
So this is just obviously
I don't know if it's going to have sound or not.
Oh, that's the best part.
Yeah, it doesn't have the sound.
Well, I'm not going to improvise the sound for you.
But you can see all the people there dancing and the families, hanging out. There's somewhere in there's a dad playing with his little 1 or 2 year old. So just it's very family friendly. Lots of people come to sit in the shade of the trees and just listen to the music. Unlike a lot of the other, some of the other events, the music's kind of off to the side. This is, the music is front and center.
And people, all the public can bring their own chairs. They get to kind of show up early. We have people. The music starts at 6:30 traditionally and runs till about 8 p.m. in the evening. And we have people showing up at 4 to get their best seats. They know right where they want to sit. They have their pizzas and they bring their own drinks. And it's a great community event. It's really loved by the community. We also have the Great American Craft Fair that's coming this year. So we're expecting between 50 and 70 vendors at that, the 20th anniversary. And so it's going to be a great time. I'm hoping I can go to the next slide. There we go. So the additional partnerships, as I was mentioning, are the Great American Craft Fair, and what I think is really truly special. We were contacted by this children's entrepreneur market. So it's essentially like your farmers market or your craft fair, but for youth vendors essentially. So it's these young kids that are creating essentially whatever merchandise or craft that they can try to sell it, which teaches them, of course, a bunch of different skills and customer service and things like that. So we're really looking forward to seeing how that goes. This was our slide to talk about the 20th anniversary. Once again, just all of those special events that we're having to celebrate 20 years of amazing concerts. None of this is possible, again, without our donors. So when we are contacted by individuals that know of this event or businesses that know of this event and are interested in supporting it, we have a method throughout the years to receive those funds to support putting this event on. Some of them support the entire series, and how we give back to them is essentially allowing them to come to the event and be there and kind of advertise for themselves and get some kickbacks and things like that for supporting the event. Businesses like Rayleigh's and Toll Brothers, Pack and Post and State Farm. Pack and Post and State Farm, to be completely accurate, I think have supported the concerts for the entirety, all 20 years. So Red Hawk as well. Dream Maker Bath and Kitchen is a new one this year, but they're supporting all of the funds that it takes for our sound operations and equipment. So a lot of great businesses and organizations that help us put this event on. If you don't already, you can follow us on Facebook and or Instagram. We're really experimenting with the QR codes to get all of our information out and to get people all of the information as far as updates and things like that happen in our park specifically. So that is information for you guys if you want to follow us and check what we're doing out. And thank you. Greatly appreciate it. If there's any questions, because we had a little bit of a hiccup, we're happy to answer them.
Well, gentlemen, thank you very much. That was very informative. If any commissioners have any questions or comments?
Yes, this is Commissioner Hill. It sounds like an awesome event for the community. I'm just curious, it sounds like it's maybe cost neutral, but do the bands charge us? And if so, are they paid back by the sponsorships that you've been able to get?
Correct. Yes, all those donors, all the funds that we receive from the donors go into paying the bands, and we don't. Originally, I think the bands just wanted to play, as Ranger Gabe was saying, and so they didn't ask for a lot of compensation to come out and play. However, we want to give them as much as they deserve to come out and play. So since this event has grown, we're able to pay them adequately, and that's a discussion for every band, of course. But we're happy to pay those bands because they truly make the event.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Great.
And that money, once again, is all provided by the donors.
And the raffle prize earnings also go back to the county?
Correct. Yep. Everything goes into our IN, or donation fund. So all of anything that we spend for these events is provided by that.
Great.
This is Commissioner Rohde. Do any of the vendors pay any fees for their food trucks and drinks?
The vendors actually have options to either give a percentage of their earnings back to the parks, or to provide meal vouchers for the park staff. However, the vendors do not pay anything to be present. It's simply a good gesture for everybody to have a good time at the park.
We do have an agreement with the alcohol vendor to provide I think 20% of their sales. But other than that, we don't have a fixed.
It's considered a donation. Whatever the vendors would be willing to donate back to the parks as percentage of their earnings, or meal vouchers for the staff. It's something that kind of gives incentive to get some of those other groups and their people out there to volunteer their time. So we always suggest that if that was something they're interested in, and many of them do that.
Very well. Thank you, gentlemen. That was very nice.
Thank you.
And the time is 2:50. The chair moves for a 10-minute recess. We are in recess.
Recording stopped.
I took the kids down there and we watched it happen a couple years ago.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've competed. Okay, the time is 3 o'clock, and the Washoe County Open Space and Regional Parks Commission meeting is now back in session.
Recording in progress.
Moving on to item 11, presentation on programming at Rancho San Rafael's Nevada Farms and Families area, including the Farm Day, Junior Ranger Adventure Day program, and updates on the community garden.
Hi there, I'm Celia Walker, Park Ranger in the Peavine District with Washoe County Parks.
Hello, Park Ranger Lauren Hay, Washoe County Parks, out of Peavine District as well.
And Park Ranger Todd Harmon out of Peavine District, Washoe County Parks as well.
All right, well, we're here today to talk about the Nevada Farms and Families area within Rancho San Rafael and some programs that we have there. A little background, the NFF, which is Nevada Farms and Families, easier to say. It was formerly the Great Basin Adventure Park, which did shut down during the recession, 2008. But we have since that time rebranded it as Nevada Farms and Families, and rangers and volunteers have revamped this whole area, which includes 2 reservable pavilions, 2 playgrounds, including the dinosaur playground, which if you grew up here, you've been to the dinosaur playground. An educational area about the Basque. We have a pollinator garden, a community garden, tractors to climb on. We have the discovery room. It's a really special area. And almost all the time we hear, I never knew this was here. So it's a real find within the park. And we host many programs and activities throughout the entire year down in this area. Oops. So we did just host a Farm Day, which is annually, started in 2014, every spring. It used to be called Agriculture Day or Ag Day. It was getting confused. People thought we were saying Egg Day, so we changed this to Farm Day, which is not confusing whatsoever. But it is an annually very fun event. We have so many different partners who bring out activities for the kids. The mounted patrol with the sheriff's office is there with their Clydesdales and farm animals, and Melissa, the milking cow. And we have the library, the bookmobile. Really fun day event in the Nevada Farms and Families area.
All right. For the record again, Lauren Hay. So the community garden, it really got started back in 2020. It started with just some pumpkins and some sunflowers. Today we still have sunflowers popping up all over the garden, which is kind of fun. Last year there was one in the middle of someone's box. And then they also, that year, Rangers got started with Kids Cottage. So this is a group, it's an emergency shelter for children who've been removed from their home due to abuse or neglect. So every year we've been doing a fall festival with them since 2020. The kids get to do fun things like down in the bottom right corner there. This past year they painted pumpkins, they did wheelbarrow rides, all kinds of fun stuff for these kids. And then that year in 2020, those sunflowers were donated to senior services for the seniors to enjoy. And then the next year, in 2021, the community garden was officially started by the park rangers. Celia Walker and Bob Holland were a big part of that, getting that going. And now it's known as, at this time, it became the community garden. And the boxes themselves, a lot of them were actually slot machine crates donated by IGT. And then also another partner we have with that is the Wilbur D. May Arboretum. We provide them with our seeds every year. In the top right corner is a photo from last year. They actually get our plants started for us, and that is a huge help for us. And then people that participate in the community garden and our master gardeners, which I'll get to in just a moment, use these plants along with others. And then in 2022, the Rangers partnered with the University of Nevada Master Gardeners Cooperative Extension. So what they do for us is, they're all volunteers. They run that garden. We assist them. It's a team effort, but we wouldn't be able to do this without them. They put on garden talks for us. They have several demonstration beds. In 2022, they had 6 beds. Now we've expanded to even more. We added some last year and this year. And then we have boxes in the community garden that members of the public are able to use. They apply. Usually end of March, beginning of April, we put this application out there for the public to apply to join us in the community garden. And these people come to us, for example, like last week, we just started doing orientations with these new gardeners. Some of them are returnees, but some of them are new. They learn about the garden and they actually become volunteers for us. They help keep weeds down in the garden area and participate that way. And they can also use those plants or bring in their own. And then each year, all the vegetables and fruits, everything that we grow gets donated to the Reno Sparks Gospel Mission. Last year, we donated 755 pounds of produce. And then just some things coming up. You can find this on our Washoe County Parks calendar of events. But the Master Gardeners put on garden talks the 3rd Thursday of the month at 6 p.m. And the next one is going to be June 19th, and they're going to talk about square foot gardening, straw bale gardening, and microgreens.
Perfect. For the record, Todd Harmon. So I get the opportunity to talk about one of the my favorite places. Oh, let's do that first. Oh, I did it already. Oops. I messed it up. Perfect. I'll start again. For the record, Todd Harmon. I get the opportunity to talk about one of my favorite places in the NFF, and that's the Discovery Room. So I've had the opportunity to have both of my sons enjoy the Discovery Room. One of them is actually graduating from college soon, so that was a few years ago, and then my youngest son. So a lot of memories there, but it's a great and wonderful place. It actually started in 1989 along with the Great Basin Adventure Park. And one of the great things about Discovery Room is the volunteers, and they are dedicated and have been doing it since its opening. So we're really lucky to have them. And so when you walk into the Discovery Room, it's kind of like a time capsule. It's like walking back into time. There's a lot of there's a typewriter, there's actually a rotary phone, an old turn phone on the wall that a lot of people don't even know what that is. There's an old washing machine in there. So really just a lot of cool stuff for kids, hands-on, an old kitchen, and just some fun activities for kids to do, lots of coloring, puzzles. There's really a cool old train that circles around the top of the building. So if you hadn't had a chance to go down there, even if you're not a kid, I think it's just a wonderful spot. So we do run some different types of events there during the year. For instance, we did do a spring break at the Wilbur Day Museum, where the volunteers were up there while the kids were off spring break. They were up there doing a crafts with the kids at the Wilbur Day Museum. And then also we have some upcoming summer themed weeks, which starting actually it runs through the middle of June and runs pretty much the first week of August. And those weeks run Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, those days. And the first one is on June 18th, 19th, and 20th, and that's our Pollinator Week. And then we follow that up the next week with our Rodeo Week, because of the rodeo in town. And then on July 19th through the 11th, we have Spider Week, which is a lot of fun. And then I think one of my favorites is going to be July 16th through the 18th, and that's Geology Week. We've got a new partner with us, the Comstock Gold Prospectors, which joined us for Farm Day, and they're going to be doing some gold panning for the kids. So then they tell me every kid gets to have a little gold, so we'll see how that works out, but a lot of fun. They were really good during Farm Day, so we're lucky to have them back. And then finishing July 23rd through the 25th, we will be doing Pond Life Week, which we do down at Herman's Pond. So we'll do that with the Department of Wildlife, and they'll be doing some fishing demonstrations there. So again, a lot of fun for the kids. And then we'll finish it up with July 30th through August 2nd, and that's our gardening week. And that's where we get the rangers and the master gardeners will get together and do tours and activities for the kids. So just a lot of fun for the kids to do over the summer. And then just a couple other things I'd like to add. So last year, the Discovery Room volunteers donated over $6,000 into the donations account for upcoming programming for the Discovery Room. So that's really nice. So a lot of the things that are done there are funded through those donations. So we're really lucky to have those volunteers. And I believe finishing up here. Oh, why do I keep going that way? Sorry. Keep going backwards. Oh. It's not. Did I go too far? Oh, there we go.
Okay, we're going to end this with some upcoming events that we have throughout the year. So North Valleys in Peavine District includes Rancho San Rafael and all the parks up to Cold Springs. And we've got a North Valleys Community Fair coming up June 12th. That's going to be a Thursday evening. And Food Truck Thursdays is starting at North Valleys, the same vendor as at Idlewild. So they're moving to North Valleys and South Valleys. So June 12th, we're going to have many different partners based in the North Valleys to showcase what's available without having to drive down the 395 in their community. It's going to be a lot of fun. We have 3 more skate jams, something new coming this summer. We have, 3 skate parks with Washoe County Regional Parks, and we like to showcase those. We've partnered with Classic Skate Shop. First one's going to be June 28th at North Valleys Skate Park, and then the end of July at Cold Springs Park, and the last one at Lazy 5 Skate Park. It's going to be a lot of fun, and they're going to end each program with a swag giveaway, which is going to include skateboards too. So I'm assuming it's going to be pretty popular. September, we have our Junior Ranger program ongoing every month. We switch between a North Park and a South Park. September is going to be at North Valleys Regional Park. Every November, we've got Meet the Turkeys at Rancho San Rafael, and that's going to be probably the first weekend in November. And then every December, we've got the Christmas trees for special families at Rancho, where we give away trees that we cut at Galena to foster and military families in the Truckee Meadows. So, we're going to be busy. And we do want to highlight, this is Todd at our last Junior Ranger program, highlighting our new chickens at Rancho San Rafael. He's reading a story to some kids in the discovery room. But we just want to take the time, there's 3 of us, but we couldn't do everything without all of our volunteers and partner organizations. So we really thank them for all they do for us. So, thank you.
Well, thank you. That is wonderful presentation, and for us as commissioners, it's important that we understand what you all are doing and all the things that are going on in our county, and I can't thank you enough for your dedication and your service to Washoe County. Just thank you very much. I do have one quick question. Now, you donated approximately 755 pounds of produce. Any idea how much that's actually worth?
I guess it depends on where you buy it.
Yeah, and what it is.
Yeah, and a large amount of that was our tomatoes, big time.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, thank you. And I think it's absolutely fantastic that you're donating this to the Reno Sparks Gospel Mission. I think that is absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you. I will add that the Master Gardeners, we've asked Reno Sparks Gospel Mission what they could use the most, and so we've tailored the garden rows to what they need, which is mostly fresh herbs, as they don't have funding to purchase any of that, and tomatoes, as they have a salad every single day for all their, about 900 people a day that they feed. So that's what we tailor it to. So that 755 pounds is tomatoes and herbs, mostly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Okay, moving on. Item 12, park reports.
Thank you again, Stephanie DRC, Parks Operations Superintendent. As always, this is my time where I get to highlight some of the amazing work that our staff is doing. Today's meeting has been very ranger heavy, so I'm glad that you've gotten to see some of the things that they are doing, but our staff overall is very, very busy this time of year, and I really do appreciate the time to be able to highlight some of that. So on May 9th, Park Ranger Chris participated in a career day at the Cullen Ranch Elementary School. There were approximately 150 students that got to learn from him about careers in the parks and in public lands, which we appreciate. North Region staff also supported several volunteer projects as part of the annual KTMB Great Community Cleanup on Saturday, May 3rd. Project sites for us included the Rancho San Rafael Regional Park, Swan Lake, and the Lockwood Trailhead. As Celia mentioned earlier, we also have a UNR Extension Master Gardeners who are hosting a free garden talk in that community garden that we just heard about. That will be at Rancho San Rafael the third Thursday of the month, May through September, from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Topics will include succession planting, straw bale gardening, and many other tips and tricks for our community to learn from. The May Arboretum Society also held their annual plant sale out at our Arboretum to help raise funds for the endowment fund that we have out there. It, as always, was very popular. And we are currently in the middle of a landscape planting out at Lazy 5 Regional Park as part of a drainage improvement project near the main parking lot. Staff has also held several volunteer events in April and May to help with that planting. So it's over 15 trees and 40 shrubs, which takes a lot longer than you would think. So additional plantings will occur the end of this month and into mid-June. Moving over to Hidden Valley Regional Park, lots of trail repair and improvement have been completed out there, including the path and single track trails from the Mia Vista parking lot. In addition, a new shade structure with trail information and a trail information kiosk and new split rail fencing has been installed near the main parking lot at the Hidden Valley Park. In addition to all of that work, we have a few very large projects that are underway. Construction was completed yesterday for the Riverbend Trailhead and Access Path project. That project includes a new parking lot, river path, and park amenities at the Riverbend site along the Truckee River. We were pleased that we completed that project a few days early. This project is partially funded with a Land and Water Conservation Fund grant, and it will be a wonderful addition to our trail system. In honor of National Trails Day, which is June 7th, our communications team is working on some media around the opening of this new trailhead, and we will be celebrating it through that. Site preparation for the Rancho All-Inclusive Playground project was completed. Playground equipment is here and is starting install. The project is anticipated to be complete by the end of June this year. And we are so excited to have a new playground that will be accessible and inclusive to all in this very, very popular park. And then we are very near completion of the bike park in Sun Valley Regional Park. The lines and the pump tracks are complete, but there is still some infrastructure work to be completed. We are shooting for completion in the next couple of weeks. We've got some fine details to work out, but we're very close. Let's see here. Finally, aquatics have been consuming the last month or so due to an unavoidable delay in the renovation of the Bowers water tank. The Bowers pool will be opening in early June this year. There was also a delay in the construction at the Gaspari Water Play Park pump house rebuild, so they will be opening to the public on June 14th. The North Valley Splash Park is currently open on weekends until school is out, and then we will be open 7 days if anyone's looking for a place to cool off. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, Superintendent D'Arcy. Are there any questions, comments from the board?
Hello, this is Commissioner Hill. Curious about the Galena Connector Trail. I was just trying to picture, I'm thinking about hiking up at Galena and there was more of like a dirt road. Is that the Connector Trail? Or can you describe where the Connector Trail is?
I would love to. I don't have that information in front of me, but I'd be happy to follow up with you after the meeting and I can get you a map that shows you, or I'll invite Eric.
Andy Brown, District Park Manager. I can give you a little bit of info on that. I saw it last week. So the new Connector Trail, if you were to take the main road up through the park, past the Camp Weechimi Lodge, you can ride up that hill now, and you'll be able to make a circuit back down. There's going to be a multi-use trail that's being constructed in that area.
Okay, so it's the Weechimi side that way. Okay.
Yep.
Thanks. That's it.
Perfect.
Very well, thank you. Any more questions?
Yeah, this is Commissioner Day. Superintendent D'Arcy, can you comment a little bit on the Lower Whites Creek Trail and what's happening there?
I actually, if you don't mind, it will pass that to Eric in his director's report. He has a little bit of additional information on that as well. He can speak to it a little bit better than I can.
Any further questions? Hearing none? Okay. Thank you, Superintendent D'Arcy, for your information. Moving on to item 13, Director's Report.
Good afternoon. For the record, Eric Crump with Washoe County's Community Services Department. Just wanted to hit on a few highlights of board actions related to parks over the last 2 months. On April 15th, the board accepted cash donations totaling nearly $57,000 for various programs throughout the park. We also accepted in-kind donation from the May Arboretum Society valued at nearly $50,000 and a couple of smaller in-kind donations from Timothy Terrell and Peter Ting. On May 13th, the board acknowledged receipt of the Truckee Meadows Regional Trails Plan. That plan came in front of this board earlier, so our board acknowledged acceptance of that. On May 27th, the board approved the employee residence agreement with Andy Brown. Many of you may recall Andy and his family were living in the Davis Creek residence when it burned down. He was not there when it burned down, but so we're happy to provide him housing at Bowers. And that just worked out. The person who was living there before has recently moved out, so it worked out really well. And then the board approved reappointments of Commissioner Jones, Commissioner Joel.
Yeah.
I'm also happy to announce that on June 10th, our board will be considering a resolution to initiate the process to develop a Park District service plan. We are doing this in collaboration with City of Reno. If they approve the resolution, then they will also consider approval of an interlocal funding agreement with City of Reno. City of Reno has a proposal from a consultant to do that study, and it's inclusive of all of Washoe County. So we'll be participating financially and working very closely with that consultant. And I want to thank Commissioner Garcia. She donated $20,000 of her Commissioner District funds, pending board approval at that same meeting, towards this. And the total value will be contributing $100,000 towards that service plan. And then lastly, just wanted to give an update on Whites Creek Park. Many of you may have heard the closure of Whites Creek Park. This is just a kind of an unfortunate situation. So the county owns two parcels. We own several parcels of land along Whites Creek, but we own two parcels that are divided by a developer parcel. This is the next phase of the Monte Rosa development. It is their property. They are working on their property. The trail closure is temporary in nature, though temporary is probably looking 6 to 8 months. They have to construct a road, a bunch of drainage, and then develop a bunch of homes above that. It's important to note, it doesn't excuse a lot of things that occur, but it's important to note that these parcels actually came from Monte Rosa. So we're trying to be good partners in all this, and it is a temporary inconvenience. We are looking at, and really what we're concerned about is safety of the public. It is a condition of their development to perpetuate that trail through their parcel, so it will it'll run along the trail, go up over the road, much like it does on a lot of other roads along Whites Creek, and go along. So when it's all said and done, the trail will be back open when it's safe to do so. We are looking at a potential reroute that requires some access through some property that is not Washoe County, so we're in the process of hopefully getting permission. It is an HOA property, and we'll be able to provide that information if we're successful in getting that permission. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Chair Jones, on the trail closure, is there some public notification so that the public sees that it's going to be closed for X number of months?
Yeah, so we, as soon as we were notified, we closed the trail. We have been working with a developer to put up more permanent trail closures. We're hoping to have a reroute, so we'll have a sign with a reroute and how long it will be, but right now it is closed. It's clearly closed from all the ends. Trail users are very interesting. They have their courses and they're like, well, that closure doesn't mean anything to me. I live in this neighborhood. And so we see lots of people in there and really trying to get the word out. It's like we have a lot of trails in that area, and maybe it's time to go try a new trail.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on. Item 14, Commissioner request any future agenda items.
Chair.
That's Commissioner Dake. This is kind of a follow-up on the 3-minute talk that Galena County Estates resident Cynthia Reed had regarding Whites Creek Park. And this, I'm going back on recollection a couple years when there were some trial runs at off-leash dog parks, and maybe Director Crump can fill in some gaps on that because I may not be remembering it correctly, but I thought that Whites Creek Park, that's a small park in Galena Country Estates that's at the very bottom of the Whites Creek Trail, had a off-leash offering to it at one time, and either Stephanie or Eric, could you kind of get me up to date on that? Is that no longer an off-leash dog park? And then what would it take if it's not? What would it take to make it an off-leash facility?
For the record, Eric Crump with Community Services Department. I'm looking over illegal.
Well, maybe we can put that on a future agenda.
Yeah, this item is not agendized. I will tell you that it has come before this board before, and we'd be happy to bring something back.
Okay, I'd like to see that. Thank you.
District Attorney Lindsay Liddell, for the record, I agree with what Mr. Crump said. It would need to be on an agenda, and I guess that's something to discuss with the chair as far as whether you want to do a trial of the same program or what that would look like.
Well, maybe that can include also how are the off-leash dog parks doing? Are we still are they operating successfully? Are we seeing more abuse? Maybe an update on how those dog parks are going, in addition to addressing that specific park.
Okay, very well. Thank you.
Chair, I have a comment. I would like to announce I've been working diligently trying to address some of the illegal dumping that we are experiencing throughout Washoe County and all 5 commission districts. One of the frequent flyer items that we see in our open space at our trailheads out in the further out you go or even close to residential areas is a high volume of tires that are being disposed of. As we know, historically, tires are difficult for many low-income residents to get rid of because of the costs associated with that disposal at our landfills, and so oftentimes they just end up in the desert. And so I wanted to make a quick announcement for any fellow commissioners that are looking to get outside and maybe volunteer this Saturday. We've got a cleanup Saturday, May 31st from 9 to noon. It's for Sun Valley residents to drop off free e-waste and tires. So each household can drop off up to 15 tires, and believe me, there's probably more that they would like to drop off, but we capped it at 15. We're also accepting TV, monitors, computers, anything basically that is electronic that has a plug. So again, that's this Saturday from 9 to noon. It's going to take place at the Scolari's parking lot in Sun Valley. So let me know if you'd like to help out. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Garcia. Any further items for future agenda?
I'm curious if this board has ever engaged with illegal dumping and if there's ever been a report around same. I think that is relevant to our community, and so would suggest if this body is appropriate for such a report or action, then that could be a future topic that I'd be interested in seeing more about.
Very well, so noted. Any further comments? Hearing none. Moving on to 15, public comments.
I have no public comment in chambers, no public comment on Zoom.
Very well. The time is 3:32. The meeting is now adjourned.